Passport to Paris is definitely a love letter to France. I think this may have been the first Olsen movie that I saw that wasn't It Takes Two. It is a splendid little film. In hindsight, I can see that it is not perfect. But when I was the target audience, which is probably when it was released in 1999. I would have been 7. Assuming it was released in the UK at the same time, I probably would have seen it on VHS as soon as it came out. And I remember thoroughly enjoying it, apart from one quote about a hamburger. And I will go into that later, and it's a very petty thing to dislike. But for the most part, I really truly enjoyed it. So, if you haven't seen it, it stars the Olsen twins as Melanie and Allyson Porter. It's directed by Alan Metter and written by Elizabeth Kruger and Craig Shapiro. And basically, Melanie and Allyson go to Paris to visit their grandfather, and when they're there, they fall in love with both France and 2 French boys. Now, these are, how old are they in the film? I think they're maybe preteen, teen at the most. They're quite young. They're not certainly old enough to be having romantic relationships. But it's definitely an almost coming-of-age film that a lot of teenagers and young teens and preteens will be able to relate to. And while I watched this at a time when I definitely wasn't interested in any kind of romantic relationship, I thoroughly enjoyed the French aspect because it was different to what I'd seen them in before, which was, two of a kind and things, where it's very American, and it was lovely to see them in a different environment. I won't say this is their first European film because I'm not 100% confident on that, but I think it may have been. I'm pretty sure it was, don't quote me. And it's just the 2 Olsen twins having a good time in Paris. The plot isn't that juicy. There's obviously a bit of romance with these 2 boys, and they do get themselves into the odd situation that they really shouldn't be in. But it's harmless fun. It's a good, fun film. It's a great way to introduce the young viewer to Paris. This was probably my first look at Paris, apart from the Aristocats. I believe that's set in Paris. But other than that, I think this would have been the first time I would have been shown, the streets of Paris, and maybe the first time I even saw the Eiffel Tower. I don't know. I've been to Paris since then, and it wasn't anything like this, but it's just good fun, wholesome, not very offensive. Obviously the fashion's lovely. They are fashion icons at the time. It does say down in the trivia that this is their first film kiss, so it is very obviously important for the Olsen twins, and plays a kind of almost coming-of-age rite of passage sort of film for their career, which I think is absolutely lovely. Fashion is obviously something that sticks out a lot. They were, as I was saying, fashion icons for their time. Still are, I guess. So seeing their clothes is great. They have some lovely, lovely, lovely costumes in this. The one thing that I said bugged me was about a hamburger thing. And they're teaching somebody to eat a hamburger. And the person, I can't remember who it is, but they're going to cut it up. And one of the twins says, it's called a hamburger. You eat it with your hands. Get it? They're like, well, no, that's not why it's called a hamburger. It's called a hamburger because it's made with ham. And even when I watched this age 7 or whatever, I remember thinking that and getting really irritated by it. But if that's the biggest complaint I have about this film, I think it's done pretty well for itself. So is it groundbreaking? No. Does it have the juiciest narrative? No. Is it the most complex film? Not at all. But it has the Olsen twins, and I feel like there's a very specific target audience, and that is the fans of the Olsen twins. I feel like it's a film you wouldn't watch if you didn't like the Olsen twins, or you weren't trying to get your own child or niece or cousin into the Olsen twins. Would I recommend it? I'd recommend it for a nostalgia trip, or, as I said, if you want to encourage somebody to like the Olsens. For me, it's an exceptionally nostalgic film. It's good fun. I've always said that the Olsens are good actors, and I maintain that, and this is absolutely no exception. I think it was a thoroughly enjoyable film. Great to see them in a different location. Maybe one of my favourites of their films. Definitely high up there. I'd say it's good fun regardless of how old you are.